Okay. Welcome to Patriots Fourth and Two on the Patriots Fourth and Two Facebook page. My name is Russ Goldman, and joining me is Steve Balestrieri. And Steve, let's just start off by saying to everyone, that's dealing with the coronavirus, we're thinking about all of you. How are you hanging in there?
Oh, we're doing fine here. I mean, we've been keeping busy, and I work from home anyway, so it hasn't really affected me that badly yet.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. And my family, we're hanging in there. And I just want to say to Patriots fans everywhere, and I've been actually tweeting this out and putting it on Facebook pages and on my own Facebook account to stay safe and be healthy. So just want to start off there. And we wanted to try something a little bit different. I didn't get a chance to do the last episode with you guys and talk about Tom Brady. So we're going to talk a little bit about Tom Brady and also the situation at quarterback with the Patriots. We're just going to go back and forth. And Steve, I'm just going to share my view on this. And it's funny because the way I look at it, the way things went down, I don't blame Tom Brady for leaving the Patriots. In fact, I feel fairly strongly that the Patriots really didn't want him back. I think if they really wanted him back, they would have made an offer to him prior to free agency beginning. We've talked about this off air. And I think they were taking the same type of approach that they had with Dante Hightower, with Devin McCourty, with several Patriots players. Tom Brady's a little bit different. And they, to me, should have made an offer to him before free agency began. I think they were hoping that he would come back to them and that the Patriots would then figure it out from that point. But in my opinion, Steve, Tom Brady was already gone. And I'm going to go to the moment where I think he had made a decision to himself, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to leave the Patriots. I think it goes back to about a year ago. And this is something that you reported. You were hearing from a source that Tom
Two
Brady and the
sources.
Patriots were coming close to him signing a new deal, a 3-year deal worth about $90 million. Now, you weren't sure about what the guaranteed money is, but this is what you were hearing. Now, you actually went on Patriots Unfiltered. I actually heard this on Patriots Unfiltered. So you went on the record to saying this is what you were hearing. And I believe even Paul Perola said he was going to give you credit if the deal went through. Well, unfortunately, Steve, the deal didn't go through. And I think this is where everything broke down. I want to get your thoughts on my comments on Tom Brady because, again, I don't blame him for leaving. I don't think the Patriots really wanted him to stay. I don't think they made enough of a concerted effort. But here's my question to you. Why did that deal not happen? I think something happened between the sides and it never got done.
Well, we've heard rumors. Again, I mean, it's just a rumor. But actually, what you were saying, I heard this from two different sources last year at this time that are close to Tom. That this deal was already in the, I guess you could say, verbal agreement that they were going to do this. And
Right.
somebody told me, and again, it hasn't been confirmed, but they pulled it back and said, nope, we want to go year to year. And you can go back to that time, and pretty much that's when this whole thing fell apart. I think at that point, you know, Brady had it in his mind he wasn't coming back because they played it out until August, and then they gave him that 1 year deal that gave him a little bit of a raise, but at the same time allowed him to be a free agent. And he knew he wasn't coming back. He put his house on the market the very next day.
That's
Um,
right.
the bottom line is, I think this is a lot of hooey that's coming out of Foxborough right now. Oh, they were waiting for him to come back. Why? They made it extremely clear that they weren't going to give him a multi-year deal. All this now they're saying, oh well, we would have matched it. No, they wouldn't have. They made that decision 2 years ago. They were going to go year to year with him. So this whole thing now, oh, we were waiting for Tom to come back. I think it's a lot of horse hockey. I was going to say something else, but I believe it's all horse hockey because they
Yep.
made it very clear that they were not going to commit to Tom more than 1 year at a time. And at that point, he had it in his mind, if they weren't going to commit to him, if they weren't going to give him any security, he was out of here. And I don't blame him. So the bottom line is, no, they did not want him back.
Right, and I've come to that conclusion as well, my friend. And it's funny because I would have been fine with him coming back, but on the flip side, and I know you and Derek talked about that, and Derek has mentioned this to me off air. Part of me was excited about what could happen once Tom Brady left, and so now we have what's going on moving forward. What are the Patriots going to do? And it's kind of exciting because this is uncharted territory right now under Belichick. The only other time that he has dealt with not having Tom Brady has been when Tom Brady was hurt. Again, we have Deflategate and the year before when you had his first season. So we're going all the way back. And you've even mentioned to me that the uncertainty at quarterback for the Patriots goes all the way back. We've always had certainty at quarterback. It was either Bledsoe or Brady, or like I said, some of these other situations because of injury or Deflategate. So you're going all the way back to before Bledsoe to this uncertainty. So it's kind of exciting. But let's talk about what has happened recently, and that's the Patriots signing of Brian Hoyer. Because again, I like Brian Hoyer, and you and I have talked about this. We were both in favor of them bringing someone in to be kind of like a mentor. Now, I know I've heard talk that Hoyer's going to have a chance to win the job. I'm sure he is, but in my book, Steve, he's there to be a mentor to Jarrett Stidham and potentially another quarterback from the draft. Your thoughts on Hoyer coming back to the Patriots?
Yeah, the bottom line is the only way they really want Hoyer to take the reins over is in a case of absolute disaster on their part, because Brian Hoyer was beat out by Jarrett Stidham last year for the backup job. And the bottom line is that they made a decision to go with Stidham last year. And yeah, granted, they were going to bring Hoyer back, but the bottom line is they were dangling Hoyer, not Stidham, at the end of training camp last year. So, the only way that Hoyer would take over, in my opinion, is in the case of absolute disaster where Stidham shows he cannot handle the offense in the preseason. And that's the only way that I think Hoyer's going to start. I think, as you said, and we talked about this offline many times, they brought him in here to be a mentor. And a lot of fans were all upset because they were like, well, Hoyer, he's not a starter. And the bottom line is they didn't bring him in to be one. I mean,
I don't think so either.
No, they bring in a mentor. And, people don't understand. They think the backup quarterback just holds a clipboard, stands on the sideline, and does nothing. And nothing could be further from the truth. You look at guys like Josh McCown and several others. They've had long, long careers in the NFL for being backup quarterbacks because they're so good at what they do, and it's not just holding a clipboard. I mean, that's very simplistic. These guys know the offense. They know the defense, what they study, so they know what the opposition's doing, and they can see it from another set of eyes, especially when a young quarterback who's still trying to find his way comes off the field. He comes over to the sideline, and this veteran will talk to him and say, "Okay, what are you seeing out there? What are they doing?" And he's going to help him understand what the correct reads should be if he's making some mistakes, and what things that he's seeing are open that this young quarterback may be missing. That's what Hoyer has always done. In the Patriots last year, and for several years, they talked about how good Hoyer was at running the other team's scout team during practice. That's a huge thing because it shows he understands the concepts of what the other team is going to try to do, and that's incredibly effective at preparing your team as well. So that's something else he does, and I think he's going to be the backup, and unless Stidham gets hurt or he just really struggles.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Steve. And while you were talking about it, I was thinking about a situation going back to my favorite season. You know what my favorite season is, the
2003.
2003 season. Yeah, and Damon Hewitt was the backup at that time. And go back to that playoff game against the Colts, and they still talk about the job that Damon Hewitt did preparing the Patriots defense for Peyton Manning. Now, what's great about getting Hoyer is that Hoyer knows the Patriots offense, so you don't have to teach someone the offense like a Josh McCown. He already knows the offense. But you also, like you just mentioned, he also is very adept to being able to run the other team's plays. He's already done that. He is a proven backup. That's part of his job. So for me, this has, again, a win-win for the Patriots on this. If for some reason they need him to step in, he can. But I don't think that's his role. And I think if fans truly believe that he's being brought in as the starter, they're wrong. I truly believe that. It's my opinion, but I think they're dead wrong. I think he is coming in to either be a mentor to Jared Stidham or potentially a draft pick or both. And we're going to have to wait and see. And Steve, I want to go back to you. Let's talk a little bit about Stidham. And I'm going to put my hand up and tell you, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos going back to look at what Jared Stidham did. I know it's stupid, but I did it because, again, I wanted to go back to what we saw back in preseason, what we saw in training camp. And I know these are highlights. And, of course, you don't get to see the bad plays. You just get to see the good plays. But I got to see a lot of potential. And, I could say the same thing about Jimmy Garoppolo. I knew fairly early on, and you can back me up on this, Ryan Mallett was never going to be the heir apparent to Tom Brady. We saw that. We knew that, okay? I knew that. You knew that. Jimmy Garoppolo was different. I think Jared Stidham at this point is different, but he's going to have to show us more to prove that. I think he has the ability to be on that level, but only time will tell. And it's funny because if you look at his history, you look at where he came from. He was a highly regarded quarterback coming out of high school, and then he goes to Baylor. He transfers from Baylor to Auburn, and like you've told me, Steve, he really didn't get into a pro-style offense to the end of his last season at Auburn. So he was running really a non-pro style offense. Then he comes to the Patriots, and now he's in year two, where hopefully we will see a jump. But I could see the ability when I'm watching these plays. Can he make the throws? He has the arm, but again, the difference between someone that is able to make all the throws is, can you make the reads? Can you? It's decision making, Steve. That will be the tell this summer. Can he make the right decisions?
Absolutely. I mean, it all comes down to how quick he can process. And that's, what the Patriots offense is built on. It's about the quarterback being able to process everything quickly, make the right decision, and get the ball out fast. That's how they've worked for the past 20 years with Tom Brady. And I expect not much is going to change. Now, Stidham is a little bit more athletic than Brady was, so they may utilize that a little bit. They may roll him out on occasion and do little different things. But overall, I don't think excuse me, this offense is going to change very much. And as a rookie, we saw Stidham, and one of the things that we knew about him coming in is he throws a beautiful ball. He throws a very nice football. But as a rookie, he made some really good plays, and he made some bad mistakes out on the field. And you expect that as a rookie. Now in year two, he doesn't have Tom Brady anymore. The heat is going to be on him. It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts and how he progresses. Is he going to make that big leap? Is he going to be able to be a productive? I'm not going to say replace Tom Brady, because that wouldn't be fair to anybody. But is he going to be able to be a productive NFL quarterback? And that's the big question, because honestly, we don't know that yet.
No, we don't, Steve. But what's interesting, and again, just working off a new quarterback coming into this offense, and all I've heard is about the lack of weapons the Patriots have. And I can understand that. Listen, for me, it all starts at tight end. They need a tight end, as you said, probably two. they probably need 2 legitimate tight ends. Right now, they have 0 in my book. Okay, so that's a problem. And we could talk about all the deep threats in the world that they don't have. I still think you got to give N'Keal Harry a chance. Mohamed Sanu was dealing with an injury. Let's see what he looks like. And then you're going to have Julian Edelman back. So let's put those weapons aside. And then you can also talk about the running backs because you do have some good situations at running back. What I want to focus on with you to end this video that we're doing, let's talk about the offensive line and fullback because they brought in a fullback. I think these are pauses what I'm about to mention to you. Bring in a fullback. We still don't know the situation with James Devlin. But also, if you look at the offensive line, and I keep hearing how terrible it is. Well, you have Isaiah Wynn, right? Joe Thuney signed his franchise tag. He's not going anywhere. I've been hearing good reports that David Andrews could be coming back. Again, we'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, you have Shaq Mason. We'll see what happens at right tackle. But you also have a couple of draft picks, Steve, that never played last season that, again, will be in their second season. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom. And I think there's some opportunity with the fullback because I think the lack of having a fullback last season and the issues that they had at center and also injuries on the offensive line really derailed them. But I don't think it's as bad as people think at the fullback position with the recent acquisition and what they have going on the offensive line. Your thoughts?
Well, it's funny. I wrote about this this morning. It'll be in my Sunday column tomorrow, so I encourage all of our listeners to read that.
Yes, please read Steve's column.
Yeah, I wrote about the offensive line because I know a lot of people were saying that it was horrible last year, and I asked the question: is it horrible or is it a strength? Because on paper, you have your left tackle, your left guard, your starting center, your right guard, and your right tackle all returning. Now, that being said, we don't know if David Andrews will be completely ready to go. We've heard that he's trending that way. That will be a huge pickup for them if he's back to his normal self. We don't really know if Joe Thuney is going to be, signing a long-term deal, playing under a one-year, tag, or they're going to trade him. That being said, with going back to David Andrews, they are going to miss Ted Karras, who was his backup because he's now a Miami Dolphin. And you and I both heard in the offseason that Marcus Cannon wasn't returning. But, whether it was his decision or the Patriots, we don't know. But as of right now, he's still on the team. And I guess if he was considering retiring, $9.5 million might be a lot of incentive to return. And as you mentioned, they have Yodny Kajust, who they drafted last year as a tackle. So he's going to be at least automatically your swing guy next year. And you have, I can never pronounce his name, Jalti Froholt.
Good job, Steve.
Yeah, Froholt. I mean, he's your guard, maybe center of the future. He's your top backup there. And then you have a couple other guys, Corey Cunningham and Illumino, who they picked up last year. So, right now on paper, if they start training camp with the guys that they have, the offensive line should be pretty good. And, we'll have to see. There's still some questions there, obviously. But, you got to remember, they redshirted 2 guys last year who they drafted. And people always talk about the draft and Bill can't draft and he's a terrible drafter. These guys could end up playing big roles in year 2, along with, as you mentioned, the running back, Damian Harris. Because I think Damian Harris was redshirted last year, the running back that they drafted. And I think he could potentially play a big role in this offense. And you also mentioned fullback. They brought in Vital because, again, I mean, that neck injury to James Devlin, those are serious things. And obviously they're protecting themselves long-term over that. And don't forget, they have Jakob Johnson. Last year, they could have stashed him away. They chose not to. And he played pretty well until he, too, got hurt last year. So, overall, I think the offensive line is not in bad shape. We'll see how things play out.
Okay, excellent, Steve. I want to mention this because we actually had a few people joining us live during this broadcast. Damian Sharkey, our friend, actually has a couple of questions for us. Let's start here. Okay, you ready for this one?
Go
What's
right
our
ahead.
record with Stidham, Steve?
I say and I said this already. I think they're going to be 8-8, 9-7 this year.
Okay.
I think people are underestimating the Tom Brady effect on this football team.
Sure.
I think Bill Belichick is tremendous at building a roster, and he's doing that. You look at what they're doing, and I spoke with Evan Lazar last weekend from CLNS Media, and Evan brings up a good point. Bill Belichick is basically assembling the 2001 New England Patriots right now. They're going to be big, physical. They're going to try to run the football, protect the young quarterback, and they're going to put some defensive pieces around him to hopefully, stem the tide. And so I think they're going to be fine there. But I think, when you're dealing with a young quarterback in just his second season, we can't expect the Patriots to get lightning in a bottle 2 times. With Tom Brady, his second year, essentially his first year, really as a starter, he lit it up and the Patriots won the Super Bowl. I don't think you can expect that this time.
Okay, that's
plus
fair
the
enough.
fact that their schedule this year is the toughest in the NFL.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And Damian, you're probably wondering why I haven't made my prediction. I've already been on the record as saying I want to wait until after the draft to see what the roster looks like before I make a season prediction. But I'm with you, Steve. I'm around that level, but I want to see what the roster looks like. But as we keep talking about this, I'm more encouraged than I am discouraged. I mean, again, I'm not expecting them to be a team that's going to be contending for a Super Bowl. I would never say that. But I'm really just excited to see what this team looks like. It's a new chapter, and we're going to have to see how it all plays out. One last question from Damien. He had a couple. He wants to know what the weather's like in Worcester. In your case, Millbury, Steve. Is it cold there? He thinks it might be cold.
It was very cold this morning. It was down in the 20s about 5 o'clock this morning when I was out with my dog. It's warmed up a little bit. I'm still in a sweatshirt because I was out walking around with the dog. But it's warmer than it was earlier this morning, but not quite as warm as it was yesterday. It's still kind of chilly out there. It's not a great day.
Okay, excellent. And Damien, thank you so much for the questions. To wrap this up, I just want to say thank you to Steve. This is something new that we're trying, and please leave some comments on the video. I want to know what people thought about us doing this, because as you can imagine, I want to get Derek involved too, the three of us, to do something like this. We're all, at home. We all need things to do, and we all need outlets, and we can be an outlet. So I think this is a fun outlet. It's live. We are recording this live, so everything goes. All kinds of Goldmans I probably have already made, but I really don't care because I got to talk Patriots with my friend Steve, and Steve's got his hat on looking like Indiana Jones. I kind of like that.
This is my Indiana Jones hat.
Yes, and I do want to mention Steve and I are doing social distancing, even though we're next to each other on this broadcast. We are far away from each other.
Yeah.
In case anyone's
We're
wondering,
more than 6 feet away. We're about 30 miles away from each other.
We're about 30 miles away, but in all seriousness, please, that was just a joke, but please be safe, be healthy and be safe. Everyone really take care of themselves during this difficult period with the coronavirus pandemic. I can't say that enough. I actually tweet this out every day because I care and we all care and we all are worried about what's going on. But in the meantime, we want to try to bring you Patriots content because I'm going to be honest with you. I listen to a great deal and I've watched a great deal. And Steve, I'm going to say this. Again, this is our broadcast, but it's all been horseshit. Sorry, I'm using that, but it really has been. So I want to get our message out. Steve and Derek have been doing a great job on the podcast. And maybe this is another way that I can get more involved. And we'll get Derek more involved. But Steve, final words before we wrap this up.
Yeah, well, I want to say the same thing that you did. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, check on your friends. Some of your friends or relatives, that are at home, maybe isolated all alone, and you don't have to, have close contact with them. You can still call them on the phone. So stay in touch with everyone, check on each other, and we're all going to get through this.
Yes.
It's we're kind of in uncharted territory, around here, but we're all going to get through this. Everything's going to be fine, and in September we're all going to be watching football again.
Exactly. And I just want to reiterate one last time, whereas I was just making a little joke about our distance and everything. Very serious to everyone. Again, just I'm not trying to make light of the coronavirus pandemic. It's just been again a very difficult situation. But again, it was just a joke. I hope no one takes that the wrong way. But I just want to mention that. And one last time, stay safe, be healthy, and we'll be back soon. And hopefully, we're going to be doing a lot more videos like this. For my co-host, Steve Balestrieri, I'm Russ Goldman. Thank you for watching Patriots 4th and 2, the official broadcast of PatsFans.com.
And Ian Logue needs to get on here.
Yes, he does.